Channel 1, Channel 2, Channel 1, Channel 2, Channel 1, Channel 2.
Hello and welcome to Andersen Sports Live. I'm Katrina Spurl.
And I'm Grace Harmon. Arike Agumbawale did it again. 2 nights after hitting a step-back jumper with a second to play that knocked out powerhouse UConn in the NCAA National Semifinals, the junior from Milwaukee knocked down a running three-pointer with 0.1 seconds remaining to give Notre Dame a 61-58 victory over Mississippi State to win the program's second national title.
Mississippi State lost in the national championship game last year. Could they finish the job this year? First quarter, Mississippi State up 3. McCowan gets the ball on the low block and McCowan lays it in. Score 17-12 Mississippi State. First quarter up 5. Notre Dame's Marina Mabre drives past her defender for the layup. 17-14 Mississippi State. Second quarter, Mississippi State up 10. Mabre drives the lane but is rejected by McCowan. Score 24-14 Mississippi State. Third quarter with McCowan on the bench with 3 fouls. Notre Dame's Ogunbowale drives for the short jumper and the foul. Fourth quarter, Mississippi State up 2. Notre Dame's Jackie Young banks in for the 4th jumper, tied at 58. 3 seconds left in the game. Ogunbowale gets the inbounds pass and hits the running, floating, high-arcing 3 with 1/10 of a second left to give Notre Dame the national championship. Final score is 61-58. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Indeed, an exciting celebration. Ogunbowale also hit the game winner versus UConn in the semifinals.
It's just my teammates. They're talking to me all the time. No matter if I won for 20 or whatever, they're going to be like, keep going to the basket. We need you. So I think they give me the confidence to keep going.
It was a kind of a desperation shot. With only 3 seconds, she had a great idea of the clock going in her head and got it off just in time. She was our second option. We wanted to go to Jess first, but I knew that she would get a shot off. And when it went through, I couldn't honestly believe that it went in.
To further break down some of Notre Dame's season-changing moments, Grace talked with Andersen Sports Live's very own women's hoops extraordinaire.
Thanks, Katrina. I'm here alongside our women's basketball expert, Silas Brown, to break down the women's national championship game last night. I mean, Silas, you saw that game. It's just absolutely insane.
The best women's Final Four I've seen in years. It's been a long time. I
will have to agree with that. And I think a lot of it, in part, is due to Notre Dame's Arike Agumbawale. And, not only last night when she hit the buzzer beater to beat Mississippi State, but also on Friday when she hit the same buzzer beater to beat UConn. And we're going to see some of those highlights now. But what has she meant for Notre Dame this year?
There's no question Arike Agumbawale has had a tremendous impact on this team this year. Well, she's led the team in scoring all year. The last game, she didn't have a good game in the national championship game. She went 6 for 21, but at the end of the game, you saw she wanted the ball. She demanded the ball. She one of those clutch players like Maya Moore, a person I would compare her to, where she gets others involved in the game early, but when the time comes to it, she's ready to hit that big-time shot, and she certainly did in the last 2 games.
So what did you see from her in those 2 shots that were very similar? How'd they get the ball to her the same way? How'd that break down?
Well, initially she wasn't supposed to get the ball. It was supposed to be Jessica Shepard, the center for Notre Dame, who was supposed to post up for an easy quick 2. But Young, the inbounder for Notre Dame, didn't like what she was seeing. She thought she would turn the ball over in that situation. So Agumbawale told her before, if Shepard is not open, hey, I'm the next outlet. I'm coming to get the ball. And that's exactly what she did there. She showed the boys, knocked the shot down once again. Now Notre Dame has 2 national titles under the belt in their history.
And that obviously has paid off, that last shot, choosing to go to her. Just real quick, what has Notre Dame, Mississippi State, UConn, what have they done for women's basketball, and how is that changing it?
It's definitely evolving. There's different teams in the mixes. You kind of see it in men's too. A whole bunch of teams are starting to be prepared, scout and recruit and all that. It's getting great for the game, and I just hope it's even better next year.
Yeah, I can't wait for next year. It's more competitive than ever. Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much, Silas. That's all we have for right now. Katrina, back to the desk.
Thank you, Silas, and congratulations to the Fighting Irish. After the break, we'll continue on the theme of college basketball and give you the lowdown of everything you need to know ahead of tonight's men's national championship game. Thanks for tuning in.
The historic Haymarket, a beautiful place just west of downtown Lincoln, home of the exciting Pinnacle Bank Arena and a rich history. The Haymarket's history starts shortly after Lincoln's founding, when Lincoln was a busy hub for trains filled with traders and merchants. But now, Lincoln has a new rail yard that's filled with people looking for food, drinks, or fun. The Haymarket is loaded with restaurants and fun for everyone. What are you waiting for? Go visit lincolnhaymarket.org/events to find out what's happening today.
East Campus is for students who want an education outside of the classroom. We have art, agriculture, fashion, food science, law, dentistry, and a lot of trees, all of which are housed just on the corner of 33rd and Holdridge. Grab an ice cream cone at our dairy store or take a stroll through our gardens while you're here. Want to make it legit? Visit us at casnr.unl.edu to reserve a tour soon.
A lot of high school students would ask, why should I go to UNL? Well, why did Johnny Carson, the Tonight Show fan, go to UNL? Why did multi-billionaire businessman Warren Buffett go to UNL? Why did people of such great fame and success go to UNL? Simple, because these are people that wanted to be successful. At the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, you too can begin your own success story. After all, if people like this can achieve national recognition and who came to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, then so can.
Welcome back to Andersen Sports Live. With the women's national title game officially in the books, all eyes turn to San Antonio, Texas tonight as the men step into the spotlight.
Michigan and Villanova will play for the crown tonight at 8 p.m. local time. The Wildcats are playing for their second national championship title in 3 years, while the third-seeded Wolverines ended Loyola's Cinderella story run to advance to the title game. Let's see how the Final Four went down.
11-seeded Loyola facing off against 3-seeded Michigan. Once again in attendance is 98-year-old Sister Jean, the team's chaplain who has taken the tournament by storm. Halfway through the first half, Mo Wagner fins off 2 Rambler defenders to grab an offensive rebound for an easy putback. And on the other side of the floor, Cameron Krutwig gave Michigan all they could handle inside. The 6'9", 260-pound freshman finished with 7 of 11 shooting for 17 points. Loyola has the ball with seconds remaining in the half. The first attempt doesn't go, but the rebound and putback cushions the Ramblers' lead at the break, 29-22, advantage Loyola. But the second half belonged to the Wolverines as Charles Matthews powers his way into the paint for an easy 2 points. He finished with 17 on the night. This bucket trimmed the deficit to just 8, and with just under 6 minutes to go, Mo Wagner threads a needle to Matthews again, who sidesteps the defense to put Michigan up by 4. Matthews then returns the favor with a drive and dish to Wagner for the 3. Mo Wagner finished the game with game-high 24 points and 15 rebounds. Michigan dashed the dreams of this year's Cinderella, and the Ramblers are headed home in a pumpkin. Here's head coach John Beeline after the game.
I don't know if they had magic on their side. They're good. They wouldn't be here if they were not good. And, they beat a Kansas State team that just beat Kentucky. Miami is a very good team. I mean, they're good. And in the NCAA tournament, everybody's on a neutral floor. And it's so even. And they don't get the opportunity to play home games against schools like Michigan. And they probably never will. And so as a result, they're good, but people don't know how good they are until you see them out there. So they stopped being a Cinderella when they got to the 16.
There's your player of the year, Jalen Brunson of Villanova was AP player of the year, and he looked to lead the Wildcats into a matchup of 1 seeds against the Kansas Jayhawks. It didn't take long for the shots to drop in this one. Grace, this was the most rain San Antonio has seen in years. The Wildcats made 6 threes as a part of a 22-4 run to start the game. En route to a Final Four record, 18 three-pointers were made. 7 different Villanova players made a 3 on the night, and 6 different Wildcats finished with double digits in the scoring column. Forward Eric Paschal had a game-high 24 points on 10 and 11 shooting, including 4 of 5 from deep. Jayhawks senior point guard Devontae Graham hung tough and put up 23 points in his final game. Sophomore sharpshooter Malik Newman had 21 points to go along with 8 rebounds. Villanova overpowered Kansas by shooting 55% from the field compared to 45% for the Jayhawks. This hot start was too much for Kansas to overcome. The game was never in doubt as Villanova's lead never dipped below 14 points in the second half. Here is what head coach Jay Wright said with his postgame.
That was just one of those nights, man. We made every shot to start the game, and when you do that, you get up 22-4. If you're a decent free throw shooting team, it's tough to come back on. It's happened to us. You know, I feel bad for Kansas. They're a great team. We just made every shot. That happens sometimes, but you can't depend on that. And you know, we're just fortunate it happened to us tonight. When you know, we shoot them up and we sleep in the street. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. This was just one of those nights everything went in.
With action-packed Final Four games and two talented teams playing for the national title, tonight's game promises to be one to remember. To help analyze the madness that was March, we'll send it up to Jack at the roundtable.
Thanks, guys, and welcome to the roundtable. Allie, Chase, word on the street that there's kind of a big game tonight. Michigan and Villanova square off in the men's college basketball national championship just after 8 o'clock. Who do you guys have winning tonight? Allie, we'll start with you.
You know, Jack, I'm going to have to go with Villanova. This team has proven to be an offensive threat. I mean, you look at the scoreboard, in 1 minute they'll be leading by 5 points. You blink and they're leading by 20. They just are dominant on the offensive end. And not to mention, every tournament game they played in this year, they've won by double digits. So I really think it's going to be an offensive matchup. I love Jalen Brunson. He's a playmaker. He opens up his teammates on the court. As you can see here, he's going to go to the wing, and two Texas Tech players are going to double team him here, and that's going to open up Omari Spellman for the dunk. This is what Jalen Brunson does. He makes plays, and here we have Mikal Bridges with the three, and then the dunk. And you know what? This is what Villanova does. They continue to prove that they're an offensive threat. They shot 55% against Kansas. So overall, they share the ball. So it'll be interesting to see this.
Chase, how about you? Who's your pick?
You know, as much as I like Villanova's shooting, my team is Michigan, and purely because of Mo Wagner. Mo Wagner, he's going to be 2 inches taller than any other player that we're going to see on the floor from Villanova tonight. He proved it back on Saturday, just using his height to over-dominate and over-strength the Loyola Chicago. He is the huge player that I see being the difference for Michigan. But as a team, it's got to be their defense. Their defense, it's a blue-collar style of play. They're just better at defense than any other team in this tournament. I see that being an issue for Villanova, as shooting, you know, shooting, it comes and goes, but good defense stays. It's won championships in the past. I really, really believe that tonight their defense will be the difference in this game.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I just do not know how you can pick against Jalen Brunson. He scored 18 points and had 6 assists last game against Loyola, and he's going up against sophomore guard Xavier Simpson, who scored 0 points and had 3 rebounds. That's not going to get it done against a team of Villanova's hype. So, Chase, you said you see Michigan pulling the upset tonight. What is one key category they must win in order to come out on top?
They can't allow Villanova to hit 18 threes or shoot 40. That will be a huge marker on how Michigan does. I'll keep track of it too myself by see how many threes Villanova is shooting. But like I said just now, shooting can get you places, but it can't always win you championships. Michigan's defense can win them championships. They've suffocated teams throughout and throughout. And this game just matches up perfectly that we're going to see one heck of a battle tonight, but I think defense will ultimately prevail.
Allie, real quick from you.
You know what? I think that their shooting needs to be up to par. You know, Omari Spellman is shooting 44% from the three-point line, and I think when he's in the game as a center, that they have 5 guys total who can all shoot the three. So I think that creates a challenge for opponents. You know, when you're guarding them, you got to close out. So I think offensively, Villanova needs to be on fire.
Well, everyone's bracket's got to be busted by now. So can I get a final score prediction for tonight?
Yes, I'm going to have to go 76-70 Villanova.
Well, my only bracket that's alive has Michigan winning, so I'm going to pick them 72-70.
I'm going to take Villanova 82-74. Well, that's all that we've got time for. Thanks, guys. We'll throw it back to you guys at the desk.
In 35 years, the PGA Tour has never witnessed any player coming from as low as 123rd on the first-round leaderboard to take home the title. Ian Poulter did such that. We'll take a look at the highlights. Beau Hossler drops in a short putt, one of his 4 consecutive birdies to take a 1-stroke lead over Ian Poulter into the 18th. Poulter would respond in a big way, nailing his 20-foot putt for birdie, forcing a sudden death playoff with Hostler. On the approach, though, Hostler got a little too much of this one as his chip sails over the green and into the hazard to take a penalty stroke. Poulter maintained composure on the green, tapping in a 3-foot putt to secure a win at the Houston Open and the final spot in the 2018 Masters at Augusta.
Coming up next, our interview special features ESPN's Shelley Smith. You're watching Andersen Sports Live.
It's your helping hand. It's a place to study, a place to eat, and a place to plan. The NCARD office, Career Services, Student Affairs Center, a multicultural center, food, and even Greek affairs.
Wait, did you mention food?
Yes, but we have a lot of other stuff too. Come check it out at the Union.
It's our union.
This is the nation's biggest multicultural center attached to a union. There's space to interact, study, and create. We're home to dozens of cultures, majors, and interests. We are home to all underrepresented students. And here, there's always room for you. Located on the east side of the UNL City Campus Union, find your home away from home. Find us at the Jackie Gunn Multicultural Center.
At the Outdoor Adventure Center, you'll find activities for everyone, from canoeing to kayaking to rock climbing. Everyone can get involved, but if you want to find them, you probably have to look up. The Outdoor Adventure Center isn't something you can really define. It's a culture built through experiences. Take a class with us. Go on a trip with us. We're open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Come move with us. Come adventure with us. You just have to experience it.
Thanks for staying with us here at Andersen Sports Live. Last week, our very own Brad Hilligoss was able to escape the dreary Midwest weather to sit down with ESPN's Shelley Smith at her home in Los Angeles.
Brad Hilligoss here with the one and only Shelley Smith. It's an exciting time in sports. College basketball winding down, spring college football just on the horizon, so there's a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss. So using your expertise, we want to cover just a little bit of everything.
I'm glad you think I have expertise. That's a good sign.
Do you think college athletes deserve a slice of the pie, so to speak?
I'm torn on this because I don't know where you divide it. Do you include women athletes? Do you include swimming? Do you include sports that don't make any revenue that football and basketball have to pay for? Or do you just... I haven't seen a viable plan yet. I do think they all deserve some sort of stipend. My daughter was a college athlete at Oregon. She played soccer. But money was always tight. You know, there was never any money for movies or restaurants, and I just don't know that that's fair to kids because they're not allowed to work, except for in the summer. So I think there should be some solution, but I don't know what it is. I have not seen a viable solution yet that can lay it out, like who should get what money and who should get this, and should somebody here get that. So once I see that, then I'll have a better informed decision.
You make a good point there that student athletes can't technically hold a job, and there was the instance of the kicker at, I think it was South Florida, that had a YouTube channel that was so popular it started generating revenue,
right.
And then he was suspended by the NCAA and
right.
couldn't play. Do you think, at the very least, maybe it's that simple, do we allow student athletes to carry a part-time job?
Is that fair, though? I mean, part-time job, yeah, but the fact that the kicker could make money off of his performance or his position on the football team, I don't know that that's fair to the offensive lineman who will never make money from his position on the football. Jake Olson, who is the long snapper at USC, who's blind, they're selling his jersey in the bookstore right now. Should he get some of that money? Probably, but all that money is going to the American Cancer Society or his foundation, or not his foundation, the Swim with Mike Foundation, which is a cancer organization at USC. But I don't know that that's a fair and equitable solution to paying athletes, because obviously the running back and the quarterback, in this case the kicker, are much more popular than the offensive lineman or the third string tight end. You know, so I don't think that's the way to go, but it might be a start to something that might be a solution.
Let's talk a little bit about college basketball as we're approaching the championship here. We're seeing a lot of top programs use the one and done rule kind of to their advantage, kind of almost as like a marketing scheme for young players that need to just commit that 1 year to get to the NBA. Are you a fan of the one and done rule, or do you think that that should change?
I don't think it's fair. We can ask our 18-year-olds to go to war. We can ask them to go to a bar and drink, but we can't have them play in the NBA when they're 18. I think it's wrong. And I'm a big fan of college. I'm a big fan of a young man choosing college, but I don't think we should force them to choose college. I don't think it's fair to them. It's not fair to the colleges. You know, you have a guy for 1 year. What are you going to get? Yeah, maybe a Final Four, maybe not. But it happens. You know, look at Arizona. They have the top player in the country, and they're out. So it's not going to be not a team that it's going to really give that much advantage to. Maybe Duke, because they have more than one year and done. But I do believe that young men who are 18 should be allowed to choose what they want to do, where they want to go, and what league they want to play in, whether it's the G League or overseas or the NBA or MLB, for example, lets them play. I just don't think it's fair to keep them in college when they don't want to be.
Continuing kind of into the NBA, you've seen different players speak out about, well, we know the NCAA is corrupt, we know that needs to change. There are a few athletes who benefited from not having to do that one-and-done rule. You know,
Right.
LeBron James, of course, being the excellent example. And then you see young stars like Lonzo Ball, who everyone knew was just a one-year player, make it to the NBA.
Lonzo Ball and the Ball family has changed the entire landscape of college basketball because they're now promoting their own league for college basketball, and who knows if it's going to take off. But with the two Ball brothers playing over in Lithuania, Lonzo playing for the Lakers, LeVar Ball saying his kids will only play, I mean, it's completely screwed up the whole landscape of college basketball. And I think a lot of NBA players are seeing that, but also saying, why not? What's wrong with the G League? What's wrong with having players go to the G League rather than 1 year of college basketball? You know, go make some money. I don't know why we're trying to shut these kids down.
Do you think it's going to be more of a trend moving forward for athletes to choose these developmental leagues or European leagues over college?
I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, I loved my time at Nebraska. I loved going to school there, but I also wasn't trying to go pro in basketball or football. I was trying to be a journalist, and it gave me the best foundation possible to be a journalist. But if I was a basketball player and I had the potential to go somewhere and learn enough to be able to make it to the next level, I would absolutely do that.
Thanks, Brad. After the break, we will take a last look at the roundtable.
Historic Haymarket, a beautiful place just west of downtown Lincoln, home of the exciting Pinnacle Bank Arena and a rich history. The Haymarket's history starts shortly after Lincoln's founding, when Lincoln was a busy hub for trains filled with traders and merchants. But now, Lincoln has a new rail yard that's filled with people looking for food, drinks, or fun. The Haymarket is loaded with restaurants and fun for everyone. What are you waiting for? Go visit lincolnhaymarket.org/events to find out what's happening today.
East Campus is for students who want an education outside of the classroom. We have art, agriculture, fashion, food science, law, dentistry, and a lot of trees, all of which are housed just on the corner of 33rd and Holdridge. Grab an ice cream cone at our dairy store or take a stroll through our gardens while you're here. Want to make it legit? Visit us at casnr.unl.edu to reserve a tour soon.
A lot of high school students would ask, why should I go to UNL? Well, why did Johnny Carson, the Tonight Show fan, go to UNL? Why did multi-billionaire businessman Warren Buffett go to UNL? Why did people of such great fame and success go to UNL? Simple, because these are people that wanted to be successful. At the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, you too can begin your own success story. After all, if people like this can achieve national recognition and who came from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, then so can you.
Earlier in the show, we heard from Shelley Smith talk with Brad about whether college athletes should be paid or not.
Our roundtable crew will give us their take on the controversial topic.
Welcome back to the roundtable. I'm Jack Crumley, joined by Allie Snow and Chase Thompson. It's been a hotly debated topic for years, and with universities bringing in millions of dollars annually in athletic revenue, the debate on whether college athletes should be paid continues to grow. So should they be paid? Chase, we'll start with you.
You know, I think they already are getting paid, but I believe that there's a better way to do it, and it's just purely up in the scholarship value. You know, students, they get paid, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I feel like they can definitely up it to just a baseline 20 credit hours. Athletes don't take more than 12 to 15 every semester, so I feel like upping it to 20, then letting them pocket the refund, include all the housing, include what the current scholarships currently have, but just up it to 20, then let them pocket the refund. I mean, we all get refunds already from the university, most of us, so I feel like upping theirs to 20 would pay them enough, but also keep all nice bells and whistles off the current scholarship system. I feel like that'd be the right way to do this.
Allie, what are your thoughts?
You know, college sports has turned into a job for many athletes. I mean, the average D1 football player spends over 40 hours a week dedicated to their own sport, and that's more than most adults I know who work. So I really think that it's turned into a job. I mean, they go to practice every day, they lift weights, work out, classes, and all this revenue that the NCAA makes, I mean, they're pocketing the money. They sit in their fancy offices. Well, all these athletes are the ones putting in tons of hours every day. And on top of that, they got to go to class. So like overall, I feel it's become a job that they need to be compensated for.
And so if the NCAA does decide to pay college athletes, do you think student athletes of all sports should be compensated, or just the ones that play for the profit-producing sports like men's college basketball or football?
You know, I'm going to say the major sports, and the reason I say that is because right now we kind of see it in television. The major sports are televised more often than the ones that don't get as much attention. So right now we're seeing, yes, there is that divide between major sports and sports that, you know, people aren't as interested in. So I think paying the major sports would be beneficial because they're already doing that right now in television.
You know, I actually really disagree with that. Purely, I mean, Olympic sports, rifle, soccer, canoeing, all the other sports out there, they would lose on an opportunity that should be there for them. So I believe that the way they should do it is at the NCAA level, the schools can't afford it. Most schools don't make profit off their sports and actually charge their students fees for the sports. So I believe the NCAA should pool all their money together, find a baseline level to pay everyone, and that includes football players all the way down to the lowest of sports, Olympic sports. So I feel like that's how they should do it if they do it, even though I'm completely against paying them straight out of pocket.
But don't you think that just the idea, like on television, we're already seeing it now, so, I mean, why not continue it?
I mean, the schools get the TV money and they can do almost whatever they want with it as it stands. So I believe it should just go straight to the NCAA to let them dole it out to all students at the same level for all schools, whether it's a Division III or even Division I. So I believe that's how it should be, or just go by division level since they get paid different revenue. So I feel like that's how it should be.
Chase, you kind of talked about it a little before, but so if they were compensated, do you think there should be any limitations placed on what they can buy with that money?
No, I don't. And I think there should be financial guidance given to them. But the university shouldn't be able to step in case a kid overspends, because an average Joe like us, the university wouldn't do anything about it. They would just say, you know, that's your fault. I believe the athletes should be treated the same, so that's what I think.
I'm going to have to disagree. You know, if you think about it, these are 19 and 20-year-olds about to be compensated. You know, financial responsibility, I don't think is a good idea.
All right, interesting take from you guys. That's all we have time for today in the roundtable. We'll toss it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jack. Well, Katrina, tonight's the night. Who do you have winning?
Villanova for sure. My bracket is actually still alive with Villanova.
Well, mine went out when Virginia went out, so I'm picking Michigan tonight. I'm kind of impartial towards the Big Ten teams, I guess.
We'll have to see.
I guess we will. Well, that is all we have time for today on Andersen Sports Live. I'm Grace Harmon.
And I'm Katrina Squirrel. Thanks for watching.